Braxton Hollow was not on any map. It was a town forgotten, shrouded in mist and whispers. The old houses leaned, their windows like watchful eyes. The Fourth Reflection Inn stood at the edge of town, a towering Victorian mansion with peeling paint and a mournful air. Its gables clawed at the sky, and its reflection in the rain-slicked street rippled like a disturbed pond. This was where Nolan Sharp found himself on a mission to find a missing girl. Nolan stepped out of his car, the slam of the door echoing in the silence. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, something ancient and unsettling. He adjusted his fedora and walked towards the inn, his trench coat billowing in the wind. Each footstep felt heavier than the last, as though the town itself was trying to hold him back, to warn him. The missing girl was Sarah, a bright-eyed college student who had vanished without a trace. Her last known location was Braxton Hollow. She had been on a road trip, documenting local folklore for her thesis. Now, her worried parents waited for news, clinging to the hope that she was still alive. Nolan was their last resort. He was known for taking on cases that others wouldn't touch, cases that bordered on the impossible. He had a knack for finding things that were lost, for unraveling mysteries that seemed to defy logic. But even he felt a shiver of apprehension as he entered the Fourth Reflection Inn, as though he were stepping into the belly of a sleeping beast. The innkeeper, a man who looked ancient enough to have witnessed the town's birth, greeted Nolan with a disconcerting smile. His eyes were like two polished stones, reflecting nothing of the dim light of the lobby. He handed Nolan a heavy key, its brass cold and slick in his hand. "Room 6, the innkeeper rasped, his voice like dry leaves rustling in the wind. "But be warned, mister, some reflections are best left undisturbed." His words seemed to hang in the air long after he had spoken, a chilling premonition that sank into Nolan's bones. He climbed the creaking stairs, each step taking him closer to the unknown, to room 6 and its dark secret. Room 6 was at the end of a hallway, shrouded in an oppressive silence. The air was thick with dust and the faint scent of mildew. A single flickering bulb cast long dancing shadows across the faded wallpaper. In the corner, a massive wardrobe stood like a sentinel, its mirrored doors reflecting the room's gloom. Nolan placed his suitcase on the bed, its springs groaning in protest. He couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes following his every move. He walked towards the mirror, drawn to its cold, reflective surface. As he got closer, he noticed something strange. The reflection staring back at him seemed off. It was subtle, but undeniable. It was as if the reflection were not a mirror image, but something else entirely. Section 5. Trapped in a Nightmare. That night, Nolan was plagued by vivid dreams. He dreamt of a girl trapped behind a wall of glass, her cries for help muffled and distorted. Her hand, pale and ghostly, pressed against the surface, reaching out to him. He tried to reach back, but his hand met only cold, unyielding glass. He woke with a start, his heart pounding in his chest. The room was dark, the only light coming from the moon filtering through the grimy window. The mirror loomed in the corner, its surface reflecting the sliver of moonlight like a pool of liquid silver. He couldn't shake the feeling that the dream had been a warning, a glimpse into the room's dark secret. Section 6. The Handprint and the Note. He approached the mirror cautiously, his hand hovering over the smooth surface. As his fingers brushed against the glass, he felt a shock run through him, a jolt of static electricity. And then he saw it, a handprint, small and delicate, etched onto the inside of the mirror. Below the handprint, scrawled in what looked like blood, was a single sentence. "She lied. She's inside now. Only truth frees you." His blood ran cold. This wasn't just any room. It was a prison, and the mirror was its warden. Section 7. The Girl Behind the Glass. Nolan's breath caught in his throat. He wasn't imagining it. Behind the mirror's surface, faint and ethereal, he saw her, the missing girl, Sarah. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with terror, and her hand, the one that had left the ghostly print, pressed desperately against the glass. She was alive, but barely. She was fading, her form flickering like a candle in the wind. He had to get her out, but the mirror was solid, impenetrable. He slammed his fist against the glass, but it was no use. It was like hitting a wall of ice. The message was clear. He couldn't break her out. He had to free her. Section 8. Trapped in the mirror's gaze. Driven by desperation, Nolan turned his attention to the riddle. Only truth frees you. What did it mean? What truth could unlock the mirror's hold? He paced the room, his mind racing, the weight of Sarah's fading life pressing down on him. He stopped in front of the mirror, his reflection staring back, a mirror of his own growing fear. He had to be honest, brutally honest with himself and with the entity that held Sarah captive. He took a deep breath and began to speak, confessing his deepest fears, his hidden shames, the truths he kept buried deep inside. Section 9. A chilling revelation. As he spoke the last word, a cold wind whipped through the room, extinguishing the single light bulb and plunging him into darkness. He cried out, reaching for the mirror, his only point of reference in the sudden blackness. His hand met cold glass, and then he was falling. He landed hard, his cheek pressed against cold, hard tile. He scrambled to his feet, his heart pounding, his eyes struggling to adjust to the darkness. And then he saw it. His own reflection staring back at him, but this time, it was on the outside of the mirror. He was trapped. The mirror grinned back at him, its surface rippling, and in its depths he saw them. Countless faces, trapped and swirling, their eyes reflecting the same terror he felt. The mirror was not a prison, it was a collection, and he was the latest addition. The room was silent now, the only sound the faint whisper of the riddle, echoing through the darkness, waiting for the next guest to succumb to its chilling game. Only truth frees you, but what was truth in the face of such ancient, consuming darkness? The mirror held its breath, its surface now reflecting nothing but the empty room, its secret safe. For now.